Hi and welcome to another video about recording with Ardour. In this video I'll be recording a full song, including audio, guitar, bass, drums, some MIDI, and I'll show you how I do the final mix. Well, the mixing process is pretty time consuming, and so I just had some short snippets of the recordings, and after that we'll get into details about the mixing. So I hope you like it. It's a pretty long video. Well, and if you do like it, please subscribe, thumbs up, and well, you know the drill. Thanks for watching. So, ready to start mixing. When you listen to the track now, it's well, as if it's a mono track, and of course it's very bad mixed. Knock me over, run down, go I'm down for the count. The instruments are too loud, too soft, the vocals aren't loud enough. While recording, it's always very tempting to start mixing more or less already, but I do this at the end of the process. First of all, drums, I don't do much with them. Sometimes I put some compression on it, but in most cases you don't need to do much about the drums. Guitar. This is an acoustic guitar track, so I'm putting a little compression on it, not too much. Well, let's hear a little balance. To the right, I like acoustic guitar on the right, but it's completely irrelevant. But well, to send everything through the center is just mono sounding, so let's hear what happens. Okay. Oh, how can you ask me to forget memories I'll never regret? Okay. It's always a good idea to do a little rough mix at first, and later on fine-tune it. So I'm doing a little rough mixing first, and later on I'll zoom in more. This is the MIDI track. Well, it lives there. Here it is. I'm not very good at keyboard, but I like a lot of reverb on organ. There's a reason for this. If you put reverb on it, it sounds bigger, but also more to the back, so a little softer. And I turn the volume down a little more. It doesn't have to be very present in this track. Okay, later on I will do some additional editing on the MIDI tracks, extending the notes a little more so they will be more fluently connected. But well, as I said, I'm not a very good keyboard player, and because of that I just play the chords and, you know, like let it go, take the next one, and well, that's about the idea. Oh. I'm using an AKAI MPK Mini. It's got a very nice sound connected to Ardour. Ardour has a lot of available instruments. I love this sound. Anyway, next to the bass. Bass, in my opinion, always needs compression. And I'll set the standard compression. I don't do much about it. And you'll need to use the equalizer. Well, you don't need to, but okay. I'm setting a high pass filter, meaning the high end will pass and the low end will be reduced, and I'm reducing it around 40 Hertz most of the time. Well, this is about good. Let's see what happens. I'm soloing it for the moment. As you can hear, it's a little more. It's a little more tighter, and it has less rumble. Okay, it will sit nice in the mix, I think. I'm down for the count. Knock me over with Fender. Okay. Next, electric guitar. Of course, the compressor, and I'm going to add a little reverb on it to make it more smooth. That should be alright. Knock me over with Fender. Soft as a ton of bricks. Well, I heard you could swim, but now I'd rather Okay, so another electric guitar channel. That's the lead guitar. You didn't see that before in the video. Compressor, of course, and I'm going to do a lot of reverb on it. You might notice, by the way, that I'm pulling up all these plugins and effects from a favorites menu. You have a plugin manager and it has a lot of extra plugins, and you can add it to the favorites by clicking it here in this column, so it will be more convenient. I only use a few plugins. Most of the time I use compression, I use reverb. Of course I normalize the tracks before I start mixing, and most of the time that's about it. A little EQ on the bass, sometimes on the acoustic guitars, and on the master bus I'm adding, most of the time I'm adding reverb and a master limiter, we'll get to that later on. Okay, lead guitar. Let's hear. Down for the count. Ooh, I love that big reverb on this guitar. It's a Stratocaster, and it's an Starcaster, it's called, by Fender, by the way. It's probably a B or C brand by Fender. I got it from the USA about a few years ago, and I still love the sound. It's the real Fender sound, for peanuts, by the way. Anyway, I'm a little in doubt if I should make it softer or not. Well, that will do for now. The vocal. Well, a vocal needs to sit correct in the mix. Always very difficult. Of course, I'm going to throw in compressor. I'm going to use reverb. Large reverb, but a little decay. Let's start with that. Let's see. Oh, how can you ask me to forget? Memories I'll never regret, even though you don't want to share them anymore. Well, I'm down for the count. Down for the count. Girl, I'm down for the count. Oh, sounds about right to me. A little too much vocal, perhaps. A little less. Down for the count. Well, I'm down for the count. Down. Perhaps I should use a little compression on the drums after all. Oh, how can you ask me to forget? Memories I'll never regret, even. Okay, master bus. We'll add some reverb, a small reverb, to smoothen everything a little more. Let's choose medium short decay. Here. No, you don't want to share them anymore. Down for the count. Well, I'm down for the count. Down for. Okay. And finally, limiter. Now I happen to know that most CD projects are around -3.7 dB. It's a lot, I think, and we're not in a loudness war here. But well, let's see. Oh, how can you ask me to forget? Memories I'll never regret, even though you don't want to share them anymore. Down for the count, well, I'm down for the count. Down for the count, well, I'm down for the count. Knock me over. Okay, well, you might not hear it. I'm not sure if it's any difference. I think this is a more or less finished mix now. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of plugins. It's only the basics I'm using. There is one other trick you might find interesting. That's routing the output of guitar, MIDI, bass, electric guitars and vocals to an extra additional bus and put compression on that to make it sound more full, to make it sound fuller. I use that trick a lot, but not on this track. I think it sounds big enough. Perhaps it could use some tambourine, harp or any others, backing vocals, but well, for now this will have to do. So I'm going to save session, and I'm now going to export it. Now Ardour has several options for export. Let's start with the export to audio file. You can set the label so it will take the name. Not interesting. Channels, you can choose the master channel, so it will output this, the master bus. 2 channels, of course, stereo, out 1, out 2. You could also select several tracks at once. Basic idea is it's a export at once of all the tracks. It's the final mix you're exporting here. Okay, let's do so. It takes some time. What might be interesting to know is that Ardour is running on Linux, and it is included for free with Ubuntu Studio and KXStudio. Okay, the other option is to export to stem export. Okay, this will allow you, it says here no channels have been selected. It will allow you to export tracks separate, so you can mix it somewhere else. You can export the track output or the content. The output includes the effects, content only the dry sound. You can simply click here to select all. You can select all buses. It's only useful if you use this one. Deselect all. Oh well, you could do that, but in this case, time span, file format, okay, wave file format, of course, and I'll do a name, stem, and the session name, and I'm going to export these also. Now, while this is exporting, you might be interested to know that Ardour is included as a free digital audio workstation with Ubuntu Studio and with KXStudio. It is also available as a download from the Ardour website, and it's available for Linux, Windows and Apple computers. They'll ask you a small fee if you download it from their site, but well, it's well worth the money, I'd say. I've done a short review of it, of the Windows version, and well, I know people think it should be free, but well, look at this piece of software. It's one hell of a piece of software, and it's got hours and hours of development. I always wonder why we are happy to pay $100 or $150 for Microsoft Windows, which is a crap operating system, and are not willing to pay for a program like this that has so much to offer. And apart from that, you can make tons of money with it. You can. If you use it for a professional environment, for a recording studio, you can charge people money for it. So why are you not willing to pay a little yourself? Okay, that was my Ardour plug. It's done now. I'm going to save and quit, and take some time. This computer, by the way, is just a Celeron computer, quad-core Celeron. So it's a very light machine. Here's the track export. These are all the separate tracks you could use in another DAW to mix. Let's see, perhaps it's nice to hear because it has no effects. That's a big screen. It's just the empty drum track. You could use it for another song, or well, to mix somewhere else. Electric guitar. Just a dry guitar sound, and of course the final session. Oh, how can you ask me to forget? Memories I'll never regret, even though okay, so Ardour, as I said, is available online. Just go to their website, ardour.org, if I'm not mistaken. I'm on a very slow internet connection here. It's just on my loft studio, and I'm using a cheap Wi-Fi router because I normally don't go online a lot here. It's a dedicated DAW, so why do I need it? Anyway, so here's the website of Ardour, and I think it's worth a look. It's really interesting what they have created, and well, you can download the ready-to-run program. You can download the source code because it's open source. As I said, it's GNU Linux, GNU, I don't know, Linux we say. Windows version, and OSX or the Apple version. Well, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and the song will be available on SoundCloud, on Audio Mac, on our website, of course, solidrockbluesband.com. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like this video if you like it.